8.
Hold on, what was that?
Canto 7, Chapter 10, Text 8.
Oh, you're on 8. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay. All right, so you're on 8. Oh, you're gonna like this. Is it 8? It's 8. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It must be also very in once bird. But oh, yeah. Okay. We go to Alcohol. So usually,
Yeah.
you're kind of well, it's behind, but usually what we do is you go you stop, 15 minutes to answer questions. We have quite a few people online,
Oh, wow.
so people ask questions, comments, corrections, whatever,
Okay.
So that's kind of what we do. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
Mridanga? Cartoon?
Somebody else will. One of the boys will play.
Really?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, we need a drummer, Mridanga player. We need Mridanga. We got to start this class.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're gonna start now. So the morning program here starts with the class, and then
Clay?
we'll have Guru Puja at 8. So we'll start now.
Mhm.
Maybe whatever you're most comfortable with. If you prefer a chair or sit on the floor.
Oh, we have such much.
All the devotees listening online. Please forgive the late start. We didn't know that we were supposed to give the class today, so we're running a little late. We are here with the youth bus tour. You can't see them, but we're a large group of young devotees who are busing around the country to various Rath Yatras and temples. They're very talented. They love kirtan. They are doing a drama. And hopefully you'll get to meet them all at some point while we're here. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivara Yashodanandana Brajajanadana Yashodanandana Brajajanadana Amunadira Bhavancha Amunadira Bhavancha Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Ramana ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 10, text 8. I always like to say the chapter title as well. Chapter 10 is entitled Prahlad, the Best Among Exalted Devotees. And this current verse we are hearing from Prahlad Maharaj himself. We don't have it anywhere, so I guess I'll just read. Yeah. Indriyani mana prana atma dharmo dritir mati Sristeja smriti satyam yasya nashyanti janmana. Okay. Okay. So we're being told someone online will also recite. They're all on mute. Should I change it? Okay.
Indriyani mana prana
Indriyani mana prana
atma dharmo dhritir matahi
atma dharmo dritir mati
hri shrishtheja smriti satyam
Sristeja smriti satyam
yasya nashyanti janmana.
We don't have the verse here in the temple, so if anyone else online would like to chant, please.
Indriyani mana prana Atma dharma dhritirmati
Atma dharmo dritir mati
Hri Shri Teja Smriti Satyam
smriti satyam
Yasya Nashyanti Janmana
So we'll do the word for word. Indriyani, the senses. Mana, the mind. Prana, the life air. Atma, the body. Dharma, religion. Dirti, patience. Mati, intelligence. Kri, shyness. Shri, opulence. Teja, strength. Smriti, memory. Satyam, truthfulness. Yasya, of which lusty desires. Nashyanti, are vanquished. Janmana, from the very beginning of birth. Translation. O my Lord, because of lusty desires from the very beginning of one's birth, the functions of one's senses, mind, life, body, religion, patience, intelligence, shyness, opulence, strength, memory, and truthfulness are vanquished. Please repeat. O my Lord, because of lusty desires from the very beginning of one's birth, the function of one's senses, mind, life, body, religion, patience, intelligence, shyness, opulence, strength, memory, and truthfulness are vanquished. It has the impact when we're all saying the words one after another. All of these things are vanquished. Wow, heavy translation. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Ki Jai. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kamam Hrit Rogam. Materialistic life means that one is afflicted by a formidable disease called lusty desire. Liberation means freedom from lusty desires because it is only due to such desires that one must accept repeated birth and death. As long as one's lusty desires are unfulfilled, one must take birth after birth to fulfill them. Because of material desires, therefore, one performs various types of activities and receives various types of bodies with which to try to fulfill desires that are never satisfied. The only remedy is to take devotional service, which begins when one is free from all material desires. Anya vilashita shunyam. Anya abhilashita means material desires, and shunya means free from. The spiritual soul has spiritual activities and spiritual desires as described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mama janmani janmanishvare avatad bhaktir ahaituki tvayi. Unalloyed devotion to the service of the Lord is the only spiritual desire. To fulfill this spiritual desire, however, one must be free from all material desires. Desirelessness means freedom from material desires. This is described by Srila Rupa Goswami as Anyabilashita Shunyam. As soon as one has material desires, one loses his spiritual identity. Then all the paraphernalia of one's life, including one's senses, body, religion, patience, and intelligence, are deviated from one's original Krishna consciousness. As soon as one has material desires, one cannot properly use his senses, intelligence, mind, and so on for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mayavadi philosophers want to become impersonal, senseless, and mindless, but that is not possible. The living entity must be living, always existing with desires, ambitions, and so on. These should be purified, however, so that one can desire spiritually and be spiritually ambitious without material contamination. In every living entity, these propensities exist because he is a living entity. When materially contaminated, however, one is put into the hands of material misery. Janma mrityu jara vyadi, which means birth, death, old age, and disease. If one wants to stop repeated birth and death, one must take to the devotional service of the Lord. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam bhaktir uchate. Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and simply by being employed in the service of the Lord, one's senses are purified. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Mutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This particular translation has a lot of the intense, heavy messages that probably you all heard. Most of our audience here in person have gone to Gurukul of some sort, where they had this education. The material world is a place of misery. The main program is the pursuance of lusty desires, which is bound to fail, and you should give it all up. And what I think is missing in the presentation of such a topic is the context, because the Srimad Bhagavatam is a series of conversations, actually. Even the pastimes which are described in the context of various conversations. And so we owe it to Srila Prabhupada, and especially we owe it to our devotees who are hearing these subject matters to explain why what seems to be so many aspects of normal life are presented in such a negative way in our philosophy. So the context here is that Lord Nrsimhadev has ripped apart Hiranyakashipu already in the previous chapters. And after doing so, he is in his Ugra Narsimha form, right? Like we have in Mayapur. And he's furious, and his eyes are blazing red, and the blood of Hiranyakashipu dripping from his fingernails. It's a horrifying form. And he's so fearsome that none of the demigods want to approach him. Right? He's solved their problem. He's removed the big demon. But they're so afraid that they can't approach him to say anything. So they say to various, "Oh Brahmaji, you're the leader of all the demigods. You go." And he says, "No, somebody else go." And like this. And then they ask Lakshmi Devi, "He's your husband. You're the goddess of fortune, right? Every husband can be pacified by his wife." And she said, "But I don't recognize this form of my husband, so I'm not going to go either." You can imagine, so fearsome. And the Srinivasa was so angry. Why? Because Hiranyakashipu had tried so many times to kill his devotee. So the Lord responds in this fearsome way. So then they send Prahlad Maharaj. He came for you, so maybe you're the one who should go. And Prahlad Maharaj, he's not seeing a fearsome form. Prahlad Maharaj sees his Lord who came to save him. So he approaches the Lord and he offers these beautiful prayers, which unfortunately we missed in their sequence of Bhagavatam here in Gita Nagari. But the Lord becomes pacified There's that beautiful painting of Nrsimhadev with his hand on Prahlad Maharaj's head, if you've seen. So that's happening right now. And he says, I will give you any benediction, anything that you want, because you've pacified me. And Prahlad Maharaj's response is these verses here, where he says, how could I take anything from you? What kind of servant would I be if in doing my service I expected something back? So he says, I don't want anything from you, actually. You've given me everything that I could possibly want by appearing before me. And then he elaborates with this verse that actually it's my desires which are imprisoning me in this world. So why now that you've appeared in front of me should I pursue my own desires? Does that make sense? So it's coming from this, it's a very evolved perspective of life. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, why should I ask for anything? You're standing right in front of me. And lusty desires are why I'm embodied in this world. And now you're asking me to ask you for something. So the Srimad Bhagavatam, various personalities, these devotees, they're very elevated. And they're setting the example for the ideal of spiritual life. We have to understand. Lord Nrsimhadev is standing right in front of Prahlad Maharaj. Right? How many of us have experienced that? Oh, yeah. So, just like, has anyone heard the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj? We've all heard. Dhruva Maharaj, he had this desire to conquer over, not conquer over, but have a kingdom greater than his grandfather or his grandfather. Right? He and his brother had sat on the lap of their father. But their father, King Uttanapad, he had a favorite son, which was not Dhruva Maharaj. And he said, you're my son, but to make we don't have so much time. Essentially, he said that your brother is my favorite and his mother is my favorite because back then kings could have many wives and many children. And Dhruva Maharaj was the son of the least favorite wife. So the king said, yeah, you're my son, but I like the other boy more because I like his mother more. So Dhruva Maharaj was 5 years old. He was so offended that he left the kingdom. And he said, I will guarantee, I will make sure that I have a kingdom greater than yours. I think this is how powerful Kshatriyas were. 5 years old, but he was so fired up. I'm leaving. But Dhruva Maharaj did penance, holding his breath, doing all kinds of yogic austerities that were so intense that they began to disturb the whole universe. As Dhruva Maharaj held his breath, the life airs of the universe also began to pause. And all the demigods couldn't breathe. So they approached Lord Vishnu, you have to do something. This young boy, he's so powerful, he's disturbing the whole universe. So of course, Lord Vishnu then, he appeared to Dhruva Maharaj. Now, Dhruva Maharaj was so determined to get this kingdom, so determined, that the whole universe was falling apart as a result of his austerities. But when the Lord appeared in front of him and he touched Dhruva Maharaj's head with his concha, Lord Vishnu has 4 arms, one of them is a concha. Now, all of his ambitions, all of his desires, everything that he ever wanted disappeared. So, also, Prahlad Maharaj, standing in front of the Lord, he also says, I have no desires. Because seeing your form, being in the presence of you, well, how could I want anything else? So in the early days of the movement, when we would come across a verse like this, it would say, see, all the grihastas working hard, having a family, it's all nonsense, right? And some of our devotees who went to Gurukul, they were trained this way, actually. But is it that having desires in and of itself, is that in and of itself sinful? No. Prabhupada's saying here, why are there desires? Because we're living. Desires are a symptom of life. Does a rock have desires? No. Who has desires? Soul. Soul has desires. That is a nature. It is a definition of being alive. It means to have desires. It means to have preferences. It means to have um, attraction, attachment. These are symptoms of living beings. But what is the detail here is where those attachments, where those desires are pointed towards. So the science of birth and death, the science of reincarnation is that as one desires, then facility to create those desires is also there. That's the purpose of the material world, one of the purposes of the material world. The Prabhupada explains that the reason why we preach, the reason why we learn, why we share this idea of becoming free from desires, is because when we become attached to the fulfillment of a desire, we are compelled to fulfill it. No? When an idea comes into our head of something that we want to pursue it. We want it to be fulfilled. And Prabhupada gives the example of how Krishna sees our pursuance of desires. It's like a father with a child. And there's a hot oven. And the child says, I want to touch it. The father says, no, no, don't touch it. You'll get burned. But not all desires will cause burns. This is the detail that we often miss. Not all desires are bad desires. And it's very logical. It's not that bad as what the temple president says. It's not bad as what the GBC says. Means it's individual for each person, right? Some things are objective. Drugs. Okay. Pretty obvious. It's not good for you. It affects your consciousness, right? Some things are very obvious. But what about things like marriage and relationship, career? We teach, oh, it's either good or bad. It's not like that. It is according to our position in this world. So therefore we have 4 ashrams, 4 varnas, right? Brahmacharya, Grihastha. And according to one's position in this world, his pursuance of desires can be engaged in Krishna's service, his or hers. So you all are young, you want to have a family, you want to have companionship, you want to have a career, and all of these things can be utilized in Krishna's service. Like I grew up here for some time actually. These devotees here were here back then who were looking after me, all of our friends, all little kids running around. So could we have done that if they didn't have families? If my parents didn't have a family? We have this opportunity. The only reason we can do the bus tour is because of families, right? So this bus tour is actually a perfect example of utilizing this desire in Krishna's service. And actually, Bhakti Tirtha Swami, remember we all saw the Samadhi yesterday? He was very, very, very focused on and gave a lot of attention to the welfare of the children. He gave them a lot of attention. He was a sannyasi. He's going all over the world. He has disciples. He's running projects. He's doing initiatives. He's meeting with world leaders. But he still would make time for, at that time, us. I was there for the small children. He would meet with the children. He would, there's a picture of us. He took all the kids out. Like, we went to this lake. It wasn't like camping, it was just for the day. But we ate. I can't remember what we did, to be honest. Maybe you'll remember those events. There's a picture of all the kids sitting together at a picnic table, and Bhakti Tirtha Swami sitting with the kids. Because he understood that if I spend time with them, if I give them love and affection and care, then they'll want to be Krishna conscious. Not that I have to force, do this, do this, do this. But that love and affection, at the end of the day, that's what we're seeking anyway. That's why we pursue so many things in the world. And the highest principle, which we understand in our philosophy, is that the reservoir of all that love and affection is Krishna. Highest form, the highest expression of love can be found in our relationship with Krishna. So it's not necessarily a question of eliminating desire. So Prabhupada says in this purport that the Mayavadis, they say, yes, desires are bad, therefore no desires. We'll just cut them all out. Is it possible? Impossible. It's our nature. It's what makes the soul the soul. You can't destroy the soul. That's what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. So because the soul can be destroyed, also the inclination, or how do you say, desires also can't be destroyed. Because they're coming from the soul itself. So desires are transformed by being engaged in Krishna service. With the goal being, so we should also understand that being in this world is temporary, of course, right? We have a body, the body grows old, and eventually will die. So the things in this world are temporary, and therefore we teach in our philosophy that the highest expression of a desire is a desire for something eternal. So while we're in the temporary world, we utilize our temporary position in this world in Krishna service, right? If we want a family, you want a job, you do those things. You do them in Krishna service, but understanding that they are not eternal. But we can engage ourselves in the quality of the eternal. It's devotional service. Devotional service is eternal. Even if you do a little bit of devotional service, Krishna says, you never lose it. It stays with you forever. So if you raise your children in devotional service, that service is eternal. Krishna puts it in his little notebook. Check. I got it. If you sweep the temple, you offer a flower, right? Like Mother Jai Shiradi, she's now taught hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of children. Me, my Jairadi was my teacher in third grade, long time ago. I'm getting old. Darren, right? Kunja. And then she also Vaishnav. And she also does the bus tour. Jeevani, yeah, also. This is devotional service. She is seeing, because she could just see, I'm just a teacher. Get them to get good enough grades so that they can move on. I don't get fired. I do my job. But she's chosen. She teaches. Here's all the prayers for the morning program. Who learned the morning program prayers from Jai Shri? All of her students, no exception. She's teaching like this because she sees it as her service. So Krishna will reciprocate. You are doing devotional service for me. So it's the same for what you want to pursue in life. You can also be engaged in Krishna's service. but also keeping in mind at the same time that why? Because that is our investment in our eternal relationship with Krishna. That is the essence of everything that we do in this world. So therefore, Prabhupada speaks, sometimes very heavy. Don't just give your desires to the temporary world because we are eternal. Your existence will go beyond what you accumulate in this life or the next. So it means we have to understand both at the same time. And sometimes there's too much emphasis on renunciation and not enough emphasis on loving and devotional service. So we have to stop for some questions or comments. So we'll stop here. Does anybody in the room have any questions? And then we'll see online. Yes, Sharon.
We're talking about, like it's good and bad. Decide if activity is good or how. Just on my Okay. Yeah. So I was just commenting that you had mentioned this idea of activities being good or bad and very black or white. This linear process isn't actually the way it is in life. And so there's two parts. One was, how do we decide if an activity is good or bad when it feels gray? And then what do we do about those desires that we know aren't maybe, well, I'm kind of answering the question in the sense that for me, how I make that decision is I think of it like a spider's web. Is it entangling me? Is it making me more wanting things that are temporary? Or is it like cutting through some of that and making me desire things that are eternal? So little things in life, like I'm always just thinking like, is that really good for my eternal soul? Or is it just good for me as like Jai Shri Radhi in this body and this life? But I just wondered how do you make that decision and what advice do you give for them to be able to decide that?
Yeah. Yeah. I think two things. One is that in this life, sometimes you won't know until you try. Sometimes it happens like that. You get an opportunity, for example, you get an opportunity to go to get a good job, but it's far away from any devotees at all. You're like, man, this is a really good opportunity. Sometimes you need to try. And then you're out there and you go, gosh, I'm not around any devotees. I'm uninspired. I'm so far away from the devotee community. I don't think that this is for me. That's the reality. I know usually in the Bhagavatam class, the speaker would say, it's this, 100%. But my own experience in life is it's not like that. You will all have to make your journey individually. And I think it's important for you to feel like you can, and not feel like you need someone to tell you what to do. However, now here comes the second thing. The philosophy of Krishna consciousness is there to help us that we don't have to end up in situations where we're suffering constantly. This is also important. It's not that it's just all trial and error. Otherwise, then Prabhupada would stay in India and say, you'll figure out eventually. Just keep trying. No, we should have faith. The philosophy is authentic. The philosophy is authoritative. It is Krishna's word. It is Krishna was speaking to Arjuna, 100%. There is no doubt. So when Krishna is saying that the pursuance of, right, low quality material desires will cause suffering, it will. So how? What do I do? Is try to read regularly. Oh no, somebody's telling me to read again. This is what I heard when I was growing up. Being in touch with the philosophy will help you see things in a way that is favorable for your eternal spiritual relationship with Krishna, even if it's just a little bit. What is favorable for what does Krishna like? What is Krishna, what is attractive? What is attractive? What is capturing Krishna's attention? How I conduct myself, right? How do I treat others? That's there. The nectar of devotion, right? Bhagavad Gita. So being familiar with this, for me, I find it helpful. Because when I think about what I would like to do, then I get a little bit of a reference. And mainly that's through also like-minded devotees. Okay? Somebody who cares about you, first of all. If someone doesn't care about you, most likely they won't be able to give you good advice, even if they're a devotee. This is very important. Bhakti Swami would talk about this a lot. Relationship needs to be there. So I have my relationship, for example, with my spiritual master. And it doesn't have to be your guru, it can be someone in your community as well. But that's just my example currently. And I talk with him about a lot of things. I talk with him about a lot, everything. I say, I'm thinking about doing this, I'm thinking about doing that, and we talk. And his perspective is that he wants me to be Krishna conscious, of course. So he's sharing from that angle. Do you think that this will be beneficial for you? Do you feel like you'll be able to be inspired in your spiritual life? And that can be anybody. I also do that with Jashirade, for example. So having someone in your life who cares about you, who is more advanced in their spiritual life, that's very helpful. But that they care about you, that's important. Not just someone who says, da, 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 da. That they care about you. And you feel like you trust them. It's a great way of going through life. I find it very helpful. Then when you're in those gray areas, especially when you're in your 20s and you're kind of going to university and you're exploring and trying to find your place in the world, having someone you can trust means that you can talk about what you're going through. And I think it's important that there's like that you can open up and share and not feel like there are things you can't talk about. So that's what works for me, if that makes sense. It can be different for other people, but I find that really helpful. Yeah. Prabhupada used this word dovetailing, which it's like uh, oh, I didn't know that. Cool. Yes. It connects two pieces together of furniture, currently. But that's the connecting two things together so that they work together for one purpose. And it's without nails. So it's like a very holistic, yeah. Prabhupada was a genius with his words. So it means it's not that there's like this force or tension. I have to get rid of all my desires. But that by utilizing it in Krishna's service, then it becomes transformed, right? When you're engaged according to your nature in Krishna's service, then you don't experience your desires as material. I have a desire for family. Now, all of a sudden, I want my kids to go on the bus tour so that they can become devotees. We're doing the big fish, little fish drama, which is, I guess, an ISKCON classic. And in the drama, right, he is pursuing his desires, but they're just causing him more and more suffering, right? So we have that other example. So small detail here is the main thing in engaging your desires in Krishna's service is the modes of material nature. Different types of desires by nature have different qualities. Like, if I desire intoxication, how do I use it in Krishna service? Can't really. Can't. Right? So some things we do have to give up. Some things we want to stay away from, right? Maybe not even a question of giving up, but maybe staying away from altogether. And I think what has happened sometimes in the way we teach Krishna consciousness is we take the things which can be utilized and we put them in the category of what can't be utilized. And we say, none of this can be utilized. And then our reaction is we feel very discouraged. Oh man, I don't know if there's a place for me. This something, and so what can be and what can't be, I think the best way to understand this is the modes of material nature. You can do some exploring for yourself. Read, it's the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and read there. Alcohol, okay. You have to give it up. Can't you just use it in Krishna service? Eating meat, okay, killing animals and eating them, can't use it in Krishna service, right? So we start there, obviously. Then we move forward, right? If I'm on Instagram, if I'm on my phone 8 hours a day, can I use that in Krishna service? Not really, right? Maybe I can use my page when I post spiritual things. But if I'm on there all day long, I think I need to change my habits, right? So it's the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. It's very logical, actually. We just sometimes we fail to present it that way. So the mode of passion, right? Staying up all night, staying up super late, having a good time. What happens? The next morning, you're exhausted, right? And actually, now there's so much science behind the detriments of lack of sleep. It affects actually your brain function is directly impacted by lack of sleep. So, okay, going to bed on time is a good thing, right? Getting enough rest is a good thing. So it's like this. That's why I say you have to, it's not just that somebody tells you how you do it. You should read. And then you think for yourself, okay, some people they work night shifts. Okay, well, that's the job that you have, so you can provide for your family, so you figure it out. But it means we use your intelligence also. It's encouraged, which I think it hasn't been encouraged enough. You guys aren't kids, right? And sometimes I feel like we speak to our audiences like that. You must. It's only you see for yourself what's your lifestyle, but understand that these things are inherently bringing your consciousness down, right? By nature, these actions, the nature of them, has a downward effect on the consciousness. So, in the life of a sadhaka, in the life of a devotee, what we're trying to do is minimize the amount of things which are bringing our consciousness down and increase the amount of things which are bringing our consciousness upward. Does that make sense? Yeah.
So nice to see you. The point that you made about talking into my accent, really interesting because I'm a fan of this here. Hare Krishna. Each year, I'm finding that there's a particular theme. So this theme for me this year, 2026, is not ignoring my intuition, which as devotees we call that paramatma. But I've been finding that when I am deliberately ignoring the inner message that comes up, bam, I get hit with a lesson. I get hit with a consequence, and I'm realizing that I need um, to have more faith that Krishna within me, Paramatma intuition, is actually helping to guide me. Yeah, do like this. Yeah, do like that. Like this morning, it was like, am I going to the temple now? I think I'm going to stay here. No, no, go to the temple. Go to the temple. So I'm here at the temple. And so
what you're saying about like the culture of Krishna consciousness is to help us refine our intelligence, also to connect us with the Paramatma within us, so that we can make these decisions that are going to help keep propelling us forward. And chanting is part of that as well. You know, so Hare Krishna, Lord, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, God. You can see here. No, I can't. The video was off. They can, and they can hear us. No, they can't hear us. Hey, Bo. This is, this is that. Come on, man. You have to say your name and stuff. Of course, man.
So, you know anything about palm street? So, into the fingers, or it's the one of the five. Pinky fingers right here. This finger is sound. This finger is better. This finger is cheaper. This finger is also the loose. This man is like the sound. You can watch this. Right. Yeah. Still, something like that, set that in months. So wait, like this is yeah. Wait a minute. I am story that they use to respond. Yeah, that's not check. And I was there's a lot of use so I think that I have that. Oh, no, class. You read it. Oh, it's just what is it like? Okay. Just so what you think. Still just practice. And so the third remember that. Yeah, it's time to be correct. Yes, so always build the plan. They are using that and you are doing this. Well, everyone it's in the lockdown. Studying, seven. Okay, so few hours around someone when something that's wrong. Come from the other one. No. Yeah, that's yeah. Sure. What when you're we have Thank you. Sure. Huh? I'm awesome. I mean, she's helping them for school. Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, those people. She's saying that. Yeah, that's totally. It's not. That's totally. Well, I didn't know. 5 minutes from now, going to make small, you have to do it. It's not like this. But yes, and you're not able to do this. I can see. Yeah, yeah. In the back. I'll order for that. Great. Yeah, but it's slower and it's the wise. Well, they are six. Better. Like, for 1,000 feet. See, anyways, it's not even often winter. Not a mess. So this is we would run to the exploding here. Yeah. It's like the stealing all the flash. Shouldn't say what you need. And then we would. Just work it and you know that one. Sure. There's something that where's the fun stuff? Yeah, and courses fall. I'm not happy, right? Yeah, exactly. One day the development is going to be just, you know, we see the Si te cambia el esfuerzo, pues te da el trabajo y los... Let's go, it sucks. I always be in the trend and care about soon and like things. Yeah. Yeah, I know it was right. Alright, it's so nice to see. I missed the last two classroom as well. I mean, my visa is I think it's 60 star or so. I'm supposed to be able to already get through, but my visa expires on like the third. Yeah. And it was a bit was. Yeah, she's supposed to get out of that. Feels like, oh, this is really fun. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to moving. Let's say the one that says boss. That was very good. I think some of that maybe for gas station. So that like if you look at parents that you know or you use work for like 320s, 13s, or something. Like how we should. And that's what it looked like. Yeah. Yeah. America's like when I came here, I was straight through. Man, it's so fun when I'm seeing it. It's so fired up. So fun. Well, let's New York as well. I mean, it's just passionate. That's why it's just crazy. Like, it's so nice to travel around and see so many meet buddies and then like everyone wants to go there to see. It's not just how I think yeah, all of this. In last year I was you know in New York I was on last year. It was in last 2 months last year. I tried it out year I was quite finalized it. It's not the nice of being because I get you also being like actual experience and my sister said about interest and just tried it out. Like you must instead a little extra. Yeah. Yeah, tried out like often. Like so I was quarantined to this country. Was in Sweden. So I tried that out. That's even worse than you feel it's 16. You know, it's big usually like no one. Yeah, definitely. Hungary. Yeah. No, I haven't moved at home. Yeah, Sweden's that's like this is UK, but that's like really similar. But tried out 2 months. It's like 3 from a try, 6 from a try. So I spoke from accident moved to others. I was there for like 25 also. People. Yeah, you just clearly. No, no, I think I already see the watching some. Yeah. Yes, we will. Thanks. You have. Reaching out. Reaching out. Right? You gotta feel it, right? So, vegetables and fiber. She was. What are you missing from wow? Yeah, yeah, so I see, brother. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's like a no problem, you know. It's yeah, yeah. So now I will keep on doing it. Anyway, so then we said that. Can you leave it until second? Yeah, so yeah, no, no, no. That's right. So maybe tomorrow, because they serve. So sleep from collection. Yeah. We just do that from our property. We just hear it, we don't know how much in that news. It's with that. For my. Hey, I'm saying, I'll just give you the way of the. It's true. Just things. But the relative drop off like in for the day. And you just pick it up, so you don't have to do it all. You got hands. But it doesn't happen. Most of the hours. And it would just say anything else, so you can stuff. Saturdays with me. So. Anyway, let's see what we do. That. Like I said, it's fine. Anyway, yeah, I love you. Ah. So what did she say? So they may have for you. Especially from California and yeah, you're going to have anything. It's funny, they have room for you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Ah.